Welcome back. Okay, that's scary for people. Don't clap that loud. Welcome back to the Grateful Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Wagoner, and I'm so psyched to be doing another one of these solo episodes. These are awesome. They're some of my favorite moments in the week where I just get to reflect on my life, share what I learned with you guys. It's like a little diary moment for me, so I just love it. This week, I have an interesting one. It's a more personal reflection inside my head than I normally go in these. I think a lot of times I like to tune them more to a third person point of view. But this week, we're going really first person. So if you've been listening to the 72 episodes of the podcast I put out already, and you want to know more about the person behind the podcast, you want to learn more about me, this is a great episode for you because I talk about some of my biggest struggles that I have in life and how I get over them mentally and how I've got over them this week in particular. Now, talking about this week, let's get into it. What a week this has been. It was my last full week of high school. That's crazy. That's crazy because I've been going to school since I was like in kindergarten. I can remember back in third grade, I thought to myself, oh my God, I've been in school for so long. It's been like 4 years, kindergarten, then the three, and then preschool before that. Like, wow, how is 12th grade possible? How is that a thing? It's before I knew that I would, I guess, spend 4 more years or more in school and college. And I thought about how crazy that would be. And now I'm in my last week ever of high school. That's insane. That's crazy. So, as I've been trying to soak that in pretty terribly, I'm not great at soaking things in sometimes. I also had my last shift last Sunday, so a week from yesterday, today. Last shift at a job I'd had for over 4 years. Indoor scent climbing gym, best place, best gym in the world. And then I started a new job that I got, a sales position. And I didn't feel like it was a good fit after I made one sale. I quit. So, yeah, crazy week. This week I also got out in Senior Assassin. That's basically a game where all the seniors run around town and shoot each other with water guns, and the last one standing wins. And I got out, sadly. And I finished some final projects. So there's a lot of completion in my life right now, a lot of conclusion, a lot of ending. And I'm in a massive, massive transitionary period. And I have to remind myself to be there, right? One of the traits that I need to work on most is I try to instantly fill gaps in my life. I struggle to let there be space in my days for myself, especially during the school year. During the summertime, I'm much better at it. I schedule my mornings very for me. And when I do see a gap in my schedule that doesn't have something structured there, I instantly feel a compulsion to fill it in. And that's what happened with that job I was talking about. I rushed into a decision because I felt like, well, I need to be making money. I need to be doing this right away. I need to do it, right? And so I try to do it right away. And that leads me to not really being in tune with myself, because if we're rushing into decisions without really taking time to reflect with ourselves, that's how we get ourselves into positions that we don't want to be in, that are not optimal for the paths we want to take in life. By making decisions so fast like that, I can make mistakes and actually waste more of my time than I would have if I just chose to figure out what was in alignment with what I want. So this is my post on X from yesterday. I wrote, a few weeks ago, I made a promise to myself that I would go forward in this chapter of my life, only making decisions that feel right. This week, I got myself into a few things that violated that. And today, I got myself out. I just said no. And it feels so good. Live on your own terms. It's worth it. That's what I wrote yesterday. And a few weeks ago, I did decide, and I think I even made an episode about it. I decided that moving forward, I'm living on my own terms. Moving forward, I'm going to be listening intently to my internal compass. I'm moving out of the structured life of a high school student, and I'm finally able to live the life the way that I choose to do so on a more macro scale. And this is where I get to be me, find me, become me. I get to differentiate myself from others in this chapter. If I want to build a future that is fulfilling and joyful, I must do so by listening to what I genuinely want. despite what others may want for me. And so many people talk about things like this. Live your own life. Don't live someone else's life. Well, I truly mean it. I truly want to figure out what is in alignment with what I want in my life, because this is such a critical point. If I'm looking at like a map of, there's a line and then there's a bunch of other lines coming out of like these like timelines or multiverses, right? So this line is my life, right? The first line. And then it could spread out and branch out into so many different things depending on the choices I make right now. It's such a pivotal moment for creating a life that is going to fulfill me. And I have the idea that many of those branches are great, but I want it to be the greatest possible. I want to feel the happiest and the most fulfilled at the end of that. I want to choose and lead a life that I absolutely am in love with. So I don't care how great an opportunity may look on a piece of paper. Going forward, if it doesn't fit with what I'm trying to build in my life and my main goals in life, I will say no. So here's what I got to thinking about. I know what I want. I know what I want to get out of life. I know my goals. I have goals. I'm clear about them and they feel right for me, and I know I want them. And that is extraordinarily rare for people my age. Most people my age say yes to as many things as they possibly can, and that's smart, because they're still trying to find what they love. They're trying to figure it out. It's like shooting a shotgun, figuring out which one of those pellets hits, and like, okay, that's my spot, right? I'm going to focus in on that. I already know. I've done that already. I've done those things. I've shot the shot. I've figured out, I've experimented, and I have figured out what lights me up, what makes me feel me, what makes me feel amazing. Now, of course, maybe that vision will change a little bit as I move forward, but it feels right for this moment. And what that means is that I must be frugal with my yeses and extravagant with my nos. Right now, I know what I want, so I should prioritize the things that are in alignment with the vision for the life I want to create to get myself towards what I want more, right? When I listened to Naval Ravikant on Chris Williamson's podcast, he said that his default answer is no. And now I'm not sure what I think about that. A lot of us have seen Yes Men with Jim Carrey, and we see where that gets him at first and where that ends up leading. So I think as with anything, there's a balance between the yeses and the nos in your life. My philosophy is that you say yes only to the things that are going to propel you forward the most, or that feel the most aligned with what you want to do. It seems simple, right? But I have about 10 people a week reach out to me trying to optimize my channel. And for so long, I've been saying, yeah, sure, let's talk. Let's hop on a Zoom. You know how exhausting doing that every single time is? It's wasting my time on the things that actually matter. Say no, Jack. That should be your answer. If it's not moving the needle forward or helping you feel better or more fulfilled, say no. So that's what I'm going to do. With my job, I did a great job of that. I made a bad decision at first, and then I corrected myself and I said, I'm just going to say no right now. I think people can do this in relationships better. And something I learned to do is, if you start a relationship and then you realize that it doesn't feel right, don't go with it to try to convince yourself to make it feel right. Just say no. Just say no when it feels wrong. Listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your emotions, because they're right. You are right. I'm rereading one of the most influential books in my life right now, Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. And in that book, Siddhartha's most pivotal realization is that his inner peace will come from letting go of his attachment to teachers and teachings. The teaching he needs to reach his enlightenment comes from within himself. Stop listening to people outside trying to determine what the best plan of action for you is, because only you know you. Although my goal at this point in my life, it isn't complete enlightenment, I think that I can also learn some things from Siddhartha's realization. As a young, ambitious individual, the only one who can truly tell me what I should do is myself, just like I was saying with you guys. I should stop my endless search for external meaning and come back to the inside. That is where my drive and my direction comes from. This whole idea reminds me of the philosophy I had a little less than 2 years ago. before my ego got so caught up in wanting to be materially successful with the things I was doing. I think that if you go back to the first ever Jack's Diaries, the first video published on my YouTube channel, you'll see it. You'll see this innate joy, just love of doing what he was doing, not for any external reward. And that's what I'm trying to get back to, and I've been there, so I know I can get back. And what that comes from is what I said earlier. It's prioritizing time for yourself. It's doing things that are in alignment to you, even if it's hard. It's hurting other people's feelings if that means helping yourself feel better, because in the long run, pleasing other people is never going to make you feel good or them feel good. The only way that we can be in touch with ourselves so that we can listen and follow what's in alignment is through periods of quiet. Quiet periods of solitude, I think, should be worked into our days and prioritized as much as our most important tasks. Important, by that I mean like materially important or externally rewarded, like the most, right? And I'm as guilty or guiltier than anybody of not doing this. But I remember the feeling from when I did. And my output when I was working on stuff was at least doubled with no more effort, because I just felt better, happier, more joyful, more fulfilled, and more aligned. So that is my main goal this summer. To get back to that, then don't go backwards. Going to Northeastern in the fall, to London, embarking on a new chapter, continuing this podcast, I want to do it from a point of inside out, not outside in. What I mean by that is my motivation comes from within. My drive comes from within. My purpose comes from within. Stuff that I've figured out myself, that no teacher, no external source has told me or directed me to do. That is freedom. That is liberation. That is living the life that you are meant to live when you start from within and work out. And I think that's what many of us humans crave. We crave to live a life that is not dictated by anyone else, but is dictated only by our own feelings, only by our own desires. And desire can be dangerous, but it can also lead you to the point of freedom. And I think that is where we need to find the balance with desire. Yesterday, I had the desire to go on a little adventure. So my friends and I, we went surfing, and it was amazing. And a little caveat, surfing's so funny because I get so angry. If I take a wave in, and I haven't gone that many times. I'm not great. I just love it. If I take a wave in, and I'm trying to get back, and the waves are big, I take like an hour to get back out. The waves are crashing, smacking me. Like, I cannot get back. And I get so mad. But then I get back out there, and I'm fine. I forget it happened. And at the end of the day, I don't feel any of that anger with me anymore. It doesn't stay with me. And so I realized yesterday that those are the tasks I want. I want the tasks that even when I do experience something difficult and hard, in the end, that's not what I remember. And even that difficulty was worth it. And so that's another like little criteria you can have to see what needs to be eliminated, what needs to be X'd off. We say no to this, and what we can say yes to. With my podcast, there are tough periods. Recently, it's been tougher to find guests and all these things. I think that I'm at a point where I've released 72 episodes. This is 73. And I'm no longer that rookie that people want to help out. I'm no longer a charity case, but I'm also not big enough where the big guests want to really come on because I'm not getting all those downloads. So I'm in that middle ground. The hard part. This is the part where people quit. But in the end, even with the hard stuff, I feel reward. I feel happy. I feel satisfied from the work. If you can find something that leaves you satisfied even through periods where it really hurts and it really frustrates you, that is work that you should be putting more effort into, because that's a high return on investment, high return on effort. All right, that is all I have planned for today. But man, I feel like we packed so much into those 15 minutes. I love it. Absolutely love it. Last thing, rereading a book. So amazing. So amazing. I know I talked about it on my podcast with Nick Hutchinson. Uh, Amazing, amazing guy. So focused on, so knowledgeable about reading. And you should go check it out. But after that conversation, I'm like, okay, what can I reread that I haven't reread that made a profound impact on me? And that's why I chose to reread Siddhartha. And man, I'm loving it. And it just, you find different things, you pick out different things. I recommend highlighting in different colors each time you reread because you start to realize, oh, what did that mean? What did that time period of me uh, find interesting? And what does me now find interesting? And when the future, you can look back and see that too and make comparisons. Rereading is so powerful because it really embeds and downloads the knowledge of the book into your brain. That's what's so cool about reading, and especially when you reread, because if you're just reading at that 100 books, right? If you read 100 books and you try to read 100 more, like your brain doesn't have all that capacity, but you can always double down on stuff and get more and more and more, and so it becomes more rooted into you. So if you choose the books that you really want to have rooted into the way you think, the way you behave, and you reread those, you're gonna just start acting more and more like the person that's very impacted by that book, if that makes sense. Okay. Um, Thank you so much for listening or watching this episode of the Grateful Podcast. I have more episodes coming out this week. I hope you go check those out. Check out some other episodes if you want to. Previously, last week with Jitesh was amazing. Man, that breathing technique, I got to try it out. But yeah, hope you guys have a great week. Love you all. Grateful for you all. And I'll see you next week.